Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you never miss any video lesson from Rao's IAS Study Circle. Hello and welcome to the Quality Improvement Program of Rao's IAS for Mains Examination of 2020. Now, the last two questions that we discussed were important from the static portion of the physical geography. However, at times in the UPSC Mains Examination, questions are asked from the static portion which are important from the current affairs point of view also. So accordingly, we have formed this question which reads, what are earthquake swarms, and discuss the factors leading to the phenomena even in the aseismic zones with example. And we are required to answer this question for 10 marks in 150 words. Now, earthquake swarms are sometimes seen in the news and are not very clearly understood. And they are also not found in the static books of the physical geography and geomorphology. So again, we will be following the same pattern of decoding the question, giving you a sample answer, and giving you important points that can be used for reviewing any particular answer, or those points that need to be taken care of while writing an answer in the mains examination. So as you can see in the syllabus of the General Studies Paper 1, it is clearly mentioned that one should be aware of important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes. So accordingly, earthquake swarms is an important aspect from the General Studies Paper 1 point of view. Again, if you look at the questions that have been asked in the previous years related to earthquake, you will find that a question has been asked in the mains examination of 2016, and again a question has been asked in the mains of 2015. However, this question was asked in the General Studies Paper 3. Now, although this question was asked in the General Studies Paper 3 in the disaster management section, its first part is necessarily that of the physical geography. So the first part reads that the frequency of earthquakes appear to have increased in the Indian subcontinent. So this part can be answered only by using the help of physical geography. So here we see that questions can be asked in different papers in different forms. Now, as questions have already been asked related to earthquakes in the previous year examinations, the earthquake swarms become important for the upcoming mains examination. So this question focuses on an important geophysical phenomena, and it was also important from the point of view of current affairs. And this was because in Maharashtra's Palghar district, it was hit by 30 low intensity earthquakes in November last year. And these low intensity earthquakes were termed as earthquake swarms. And this particular aspect was covered in the Focus magazine of March month in 2019. So in this we have discussed this term that was seen in the newspapers, and this was the earthquake swarm. And the Dhanau town in Maharashtra's Palghar district was hit by these 30 low intensity earthquakes. And while explaining the earthquake swarms, it was highlighted that these shocks are being considered as foreshocks of a larger disaster. Again, the data that was collected pointed to an earthquake swarm. So accordingly, the earthquake swarm is a series of many low intensity earthquakes without a discernible main shock that can occur over weeks in active geothermal areas. And also, we have looked at some of the factors that were responsible for these earthquake swarms. So what is expected in this question? First is the knowledge of current events in geomorphology. And second is the ability to concisely explain them. And also at the same time, it tests the core knowledge of subject. So this question basically aims at balancing the static part with the current affair part. And if you are able to do that while studying, you can easily answer this question. So let us look at a sample answer structure for this question. So in the introduction part, we will clearly define what are these earthquake swarms. And in the body part, we will show as to how are swarms different from normal seismic activity. And again, we will highlight the factors which are responsible and draw appropriate diagrams and give examples to substantiate our claim. And in the conclusion part, we will look at the importance of these earthquake swarms in predicting important devastating natural disasters like the earthquakes and volcanoes. So in the introduction part, you can start by saying that seismic activity in a region generally consists of series of earthquakes which are spread over months and years in the form of foreshocks, main shocks and aftershocks. However, in earthquake swarms, These are different in the sense that they consist of a series of low intensity earthquakes without a discernible main shock. And again, it needs to be pointed out that they can occur in both seismic as well as aseismic areas because they are not always associated with the tectonic movements which are responsible for the major earthquakes. And accordingly, by writing this statement, we have tried to connect to the second part of the question, which requires us to identify the factors leading to the phenomena even in the aseismic zones. Now, seismic zones are generally those areas where the seismic activity is more or those areas which are prone to earthquake activity. However, aseismic zones are relatively stable and they rarely witness any earthquake like activity. And these are generally termed as aseismic zones. So, at this point, while defining the earthquake swarms, you can draw these diagrams. So, this diagram represents the normal seismic activity, and this consists of four shocks which occur before the main shock in seismic areas. And these main shocks are followed by number of aftershocks. Now, if you are aware of the important earthquake that happened in Nepal, you might be knowing that it was followed by a number of small intensity aftershocks. And as compared to the normal seismic activity, in case of earthquake swarms, there are only low intensity earthquakes, and these are number of or series of low intensity earthquakes, and there is no discernible main shock. So we have highlighted both these points that the normal seismic activity consists of four shocks, main shocks and aftershocks, and the earthquake swarms consist of a series of low intensity earthquakes without a discernible main shock by these two diagrams. Now, coming to the factors that are responsible for these earthquake swarms. First are the tectonic movements. Now, in some areas, the tectonic or the seismic energy gets piled up, and as such, after a point, it starts releasing in small amounts from certain points. So, the release of piled up seismic energy in small amounts from certain points, and at the same time, if the strength of the Earth's crust in that area is low, which cannot hold the tectonic energy, the instances of earthquake swarms are witnessed. And one of the prime example of such kind of earthquake swarms has been witnessed in Palghar in Maharashtra in 2019. And similar kinds of earthquake swarms were witnessed in Rampur in Himachal Pradesh in 2016. Again, these earthquake swarms also occur in those areas which have active hydrothermal systems and active geothermal systems. And we note that these are those provinces where the warm water springs are found. And as the warm water from beneath the earth's surface push the crust of the earthquake swarms are sometimes witnessed. Again, in some places, the groundwater is known to lubricate the faults, and these faults lead to the occurrence of low intensity earthquake swarms. And if you are aware of the earthquakes that happened in Koina, the foreshocks due to the reservoir induced seismicity in these areas was mainly because of the fluid movements beneath the surface of the earth. So as we can see that normally in case of earthquakes, the fluid movements do not have a major role to play. So in case of aseismic areas, the fluid movements are also responsible for the earthquake swarms. And finally, the volcanic movements are also responsible for the earthquake swarms. So these are observed in the regions with active volcanoes. And these are caused by the movement of magma in the subsurface. And this kind of earthquake swarm activity was witnessed in 1980 before the eruption of Mount St. Helens volcano. So the eruption of this volcano was preceded by the earthquake swarm activity. So the three important factors that we have seen are first the tectonic movements, the volcanic movements, and the fluid movements, which can include the geothermal systems and also lubrication provided by the groundwater. And we have substantiated these factors with examples from current affairs. And while writing the conclusion, you can say that earthquake swarms have sometimes been precursors to some of the devastating natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanoes. Now, sometimes major earthquakes are found or occur in the area where the earthquake swarms have happened. However, these major earthquakes take place after a considerable period of time after the activity of earthquake swarms is over. So, accordingly, this is not similar to the normal seismic activity that is witnessed in the seismic areas. So, again, while writing this answer, we have taken care of the relevancy of the points that we are discussing to the question that has been asked. Again, we have used key geographical terms like tectonic movements, volcanic movements, etc. And we have made use of proper diagrams and examples while writing this sample answer. So again, while reviewing, you need to focus on the structure, presentation, language, and grammar. And in this part, in the introduction, we have defined the concept of earthquake swarm, highlighting the difference with normal seismic activity. And in the body part, we have included all types of factors that lead to the earthquake swarm activity. And we have concluded with the geographical importance of these earthquake swarm activities. Again, to improve the presentation, we have used subheadings, we have underlined keywords, and used diagrams to elaborate the concept. And also, we have made use of simple and short sentences, and these help in making the answer clearly readable for the examiner. And also, the word limit needs to be followed properly.